Welcome to the second day of our second annual Clear the Vapor Conference. Before we start, and we do want to thank our generous sponsors, but before we start, we want to recognize and take a moment to remember the victims of the horrific elementary school shooting yesterday in Texas. As a group that cares about kids, and I know everyone who's joining us cares about kids, it's especially heartbreaking. And it almost doesn't seem enough to take a moment of silence, but we're just going to do that for a minute. Thank you. Okay.
As Dorian said, it doesn't seem like enough.
Right. So we just want to quickly thank our sponsors before we jump in, and our, very generous sponsor, the CVS Health, and we have the list, which we're going to pop up on screen in a minute, so I can read off the list. But without our generous sponsors and without you all, this would not have been possible. So thank you to CVS Health, our founding sponsor, American Heart Association, Truth Initiative, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, the Kaiser Permanente National Community Benefit Fund at the East Bay Community Foundation, Soda Technologies, Tobacco-Free Florida, Cancer Action Network, GlaxoSmithKline, the Child Mind Institute, American Lung Association, Brown Strategies, and Vaping Prevention Resource. Thank you.
I also want to briefly acknowledge that while this is an all virtual conference and we are all ourselves in different places and we have people joining us from literally all over the country, we should acknowledge that we are all gathering virtually, but on ancestral tribal lands with the intention of doing good medicine today. I just want to briefly recap. We heard a lot of important information and resources and discussions yesterday, so I'll just give a couple. We heard from North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein, who talked about his own settlement with Juul from his state. And I also want to just acknowledge that AG Stein has had a medical emergency and is currently in the hospital. It seems, thank God, he's doing fine. And we want to send our wishes and thoughts to him and his family and wish him a very speedy recovery. We also heard a really interesting conversation that Mimi moderated about media and the impact of social media and streaming services and vaping imagery. So with Matt Myers and Rob Jackler of Stanford. We also had a really important conversation that Dorian moderated with the Truth Initiative and with the National Center for Wellbeing and the CDC about the connection between mental health and vaping, especially in the context of the adolescent mental health crisis that we're living through. So those are just a few of the things, and you can find, I was live tweeting, you can go back on our Twitter and this will be recorded. And Mimi, happy birthday, Mimi. What, not to embarrass you, what do we have coming up today?
Thanks, Meredith. We have an incredible lineup today. Just to mention a few things: treatment and cessation, which I know everybody is interested in hearing about, school policy, ethical investing, which should be really interesting. And I'll actually be moderating one of the breakout groups today on the environmental impact of e-cigarettes and the tobacco industry, which should be really interesting, and highlighting our Vapes Are Trash campaign, which we're really excited to share with everyone.
Great. Now, yesterday we spoke about, we mentioned how the FDA has made a court filing a little over a week ago about how their review of the tobacco products and the e-cigarette products are going to be delayed by more than another year, which will be
already delayed by years.
Right, exactly, which will be almost 2 years past the deadline. So I wanted to encourage you to take a moment to post on social media, to tag the FDA and to let them know that we really want them. They need to take immediate action to regulate flavored e-cigarette products. And we want to thank one of our lead sponsors and one of our amazing partners, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, who's making this action possible. As I said, the FDA will now not complete its regulatory process for all of these products until the end of June 2023.
And just to be clear, that means that these products, including menthol flavor, among the most popular that the millions of kids who vape are using, will potentially remain on the market for another year without full regulation.
Right. So we need this regulatory action in order to protect our kids. Yesterday, there were nearly 2,000 people who joined us live. So we really have actual power in this moment to make our voices heard. So we're going to drop the link in the chat and you'll have access to it all day long, and full instructions are on the site. But let's take down tobacco.org/PAVE, PAVE, and the link again is in the chat. So we'll mention it again if you missed all that, but thank you again to Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids for creating this action. And you know what? The FDA needs to hear from all of us.
Our voices matter. Every voice, every parent voice, every voice in this space matters.
Yes, absolutely. So here we go. I think we're going to start our conference. We're going to give it a few minutes while people are joining. I see the numbers are ticking up. So we'll take a minute and then we will launch into our first speaker. Thank you.